Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. It's Talk Wrestling. It's good old JM. I'm on No DQ. Happy to be back on No DQ on the Jeff Meacham Network, of course, on the Greg Cherry brand and the Costume Studios and the No DQ and Jeff Meacham Network Twitters and the Jeff Meacham Facebook page and the Jeff Meacham Facebook. I am all over the friggin' place. Holy moly. So I don't know if the next season the overrun. I'm sorry if it is. I usually go off at 7. So if they're still on, I'm sorry. But I did want to go ahead and get started a little early, just to make sure I got everybody's comments in and up. Okay. Tom, congratulations. Again, Scott Hall, of course. Rest in peace. Tough day yesterday, no doubt about it. But it is, as we say here, what it is. Ron Breaker apparently is on NXT, so there you go. There you go. And James, I appreciate you being here too. And I know. I'm sorry about the shirts. No excuses. It's what it is. Matt, I'm better than I was yesterday at the end of the show. So that's, I guess, a plus, right? And there's more for Scott. Okay. So it's been kind of a long day. I mean, everybody found out about Scott, last night. I appreciate that. Thank you, Joy. Tend to agree. What yesterday was fun as far as most of the show we did, we did our first episode of Ask Dads, which I thought was pretty cool. The original plan was to go ahead and do a tribute to Scott, but as he had not been announced as having passed away before we took the air, I didn't want to come off in that way. I don't know what way that means. When this shit happens, it's such a hard thing to wrap your head around and trying to freaking just know what to say, how to say, all of it. And, everybody in this room has been through, watching the guys we grew up with, watched as kids, pass away. And, it's just one of those where you don't really, let yourself get there in your head that it's going to be somebody that not only did you grow up and watch this person, admire this person, feel for this person when they struggle type thing. But, when it's somebody you've become at least mildly acquainted with, throughout doing this crazy shit I do on the daily, it sucks. It really friggin' sucks, as a matter of fact. So, again, I do apologize if kind of the show went off the rails yesterday. I also apologize to JJ for having to crop out the beautiful tribute he put together for Scott at the end of the show yesterday that went in with the 10 bell that I had put together. I'm the 10 bell guy, I guess. It got dinged every friggin' where, so I had to take it out of the show. So I do apologize, Jay, if you're watching. Just kind of, it's not that I'm making money on it anyway on YouTube. Let me be clear on that, Jay. It was literally being blocked. The entire show was being blocked from being shown to you guys. So I had to edit, and in order for it to be seen at all. And I thought yesterday's show was very good. The JJ and I did with the Ask Dads, and that's going to be a regular feature on the channel on Mondays going forward, since I'm here with you crazy kids most Tuesdays. Now, let me just clear the air right now. If you are watching this on No DQ, which as it stands right now, about half of you guys that are watching No DQ, so I appreciate that. The next 2 Tuesdays, Aaron's got something on the channel schedule, so I will during this time slot, I think. At the very least, it'll be on the same day, so he doesn't want the algorithm all messed up, and I totally understand that. So there will not be a Talk Wrestling on the No DQ side of things on those Tuesdays. However, we will still be on the Jeff Meacham Network, the Greg Cherry brand, and the Costume Studios for those Tuesdays coming up, the 22nd and the 29th. Actually, I think the 22nd we will be on. Okay, so the 22nd we will be. I'm just kidding. I have a calendar. I can just show you guys. I'm being stupid. I put the calendar in here for a reason. Hang on. There it is. There we go. Okay. So tomorrow, of course, is the Greg Cherry Show. If you're watching on the Greg Cherry brand, the Casa, and Jeff Meacham Network, you'll see including the fact that Greg Cherry is going to be on Quizlemania before that. So we finally got Greg on Quizlemania. We're very excited for Greg, and we hope he does well. Thursday, I have an interview on the show. Friday, we have our usual dads every other Friday, and then I'm hoping if I can get people on board to do it with me, I'll be doing a watch along of the Crockett Cup, hopefully. Monday, ask the dads. Ask the dads. We'll work on it. Talk wrestling back here Tuesday. Greg Cherry Show. WTC Jack of all trades, which I'm defending my title live. God help me. And then open mic night will be next Friday. And then we're in the mania mode. There we go. All right. So let me get into the chat room again here and get the comments up here. Psychojet Black says, I reminded of a video where The Rock makes fun of the NWO by mocking Razor's pose, the diesel truck horn, and Hogan's vitamins and prayers catchphrases. Thank you, Scott, for being part of it. Yeah, that was interesting for me to have to watch as a lifelong Hulkamaniac, and now 25 years. Back then it was 6 years of throwing up the Too Sweet. It was very cool to have The Rock interact with the NWO. Thoughts on Pete Dunne being Butch? It's very funny. I saw a lot of comments back and forth through the various Twitter feeds and all the comments, social media. The Cleaver Colin Andrews said it very simply, very plainly. He will be just fine. And he will. We have to believe that Pete Dunne, who's already seeming to own this all over social media, especially Twitter, he's owning the Butch name. So let it, again, TJS said it months and months ago when we were on the No DQ review together. Let it breathe. Let it play out, guys. Let it happen. He just got the name. Yes, it's stupid. It's ridiculous to change a guy's name after all the investment and the name value they've put on him through NXT UK. But it's literally less than a week later. It'll be okay. Now, if the bullshit continues down the line for Pete Dunne, like it did for Karrion Kross, like it did for a lot of guys, then yeah, we can come back in here and bitch at the old man for screwing up again. Till then, it'll be okay. I think Pete Dunne will be fine. I really do. And yes, Greg Sherrick with me. It is happening. Marshall's in the house. Scott Hall, Too Sweet. Exactly. I did it. I feel like we need a special stat boy after last week's and this week's free different. Well, it's funny you mention Stat Boy's a special stat boy, and I'll tell you why. If I can get the damn thing to load. There it goes. So we talked after we went off the air yesterday. We were I called a Jeff Meacham Network team meeting with Greg and JJ and Mikey, and I called everybody, and those are the ones that showed up. So there you go. But Josh, it's funny you mentioned that because April 14th, we're bringing back an old favorite from the old Casa channel. Well, it's still there, but it was really on the Casa channel. It's going to be across the Jeff Meacham Network spread, the web of existence, if you will, for the multiverse. Simulcast is what it is. We'll be bringing back Stat Boy Rants. That's right. Stat Boy Rants will be a part of the Jeff Meacham Network, the Cassian Studios, and the like coming up in April. So the week after Mania. So there you go. Let's see. Baker Mayfield just posted a message on Twitter. Again, this is the wrestling show, Josh, but we'll go ahead and throw it up there. Message on Twitter that even though he's uncertain about his future, he's thankful for Cleveland the last 4 years, and now someone's cut. Oh, geez, there you go. Marshall, I remember Scott versus Stone Cold 2002. That was a dream match at the time, but it was a dream match that should have. Yeah, the match with Scott Hall and Steve Austin did not lay out near as well in execution as it did in theory, unfortunately. So, but again, if you read back, if you watch back the promos and everything and the shoot interviews, they wanted it to be Hogan and Austin refused to work with Hulk Hogan. So there you go. Adam Buxton says, I'm glad Vince done right by us. Yes, I have felt for many, many years that the NWO should definitely get as a faction induction. And to be honest with you, because Bischoff went in the same induction night, it wasn't the same class, it wasn't the same year technically. In the books it won't be. But I am 100% okay with the inductees of the NWO being Hulk, Scott, Kevin, and Sean Waltman. So there you go. So I agree with you, Adam. Thank you for throwing that up there. I appreciate that. Joey says, if I can tolerate new voices of The Simpsons like Carl and Bobby Man, I can tolerate it. Exactly. It'll be all right. It will be okay. Do I think Scott and Rick Steiner will be inducted in the Hall of Fame this year? Nope, I don't. According to certain sources, if Scott continues to turn down, they're just going to induct Rick. So I think Scotty Steiner will remain stubborn, as Scotty Steiner do, and they'll just put Rick in and tell Scott to go piss up the rope. Because again, that's what Scotty will do, and that's what Vince will do right back. Vince wants, it seems anyway, to do right by the talent as far as recognizing them after the fact. But that is completely on the talent if they want to accept induction, or if in the case of the estate, if they'll allow the induction. Psycho Jet Black says, honestly, Butch is a better name and wrestler than T-Bar. Sorry, Aaron. Again, for a middle name, that was Aaron's parents' decision. But as a wrestler name, yeah, it sounds ridiculous. I agree. Josh says, I think I may have watched Razor vs. HBK once, but definitely going to watch it after yesterday. Rewatch it. Yes, definitely. I'm thinking this is Mikey because Mikey can't follow directions, but let me just check, Mikey, because you can't freaking make it so it says your name instead of Facebook user. Michael. Let's see. One comment. Oh, it's Zach Nelson. Just kidding, Zach. I'm sorry. Mikey, I apologize. I'm actually, it was Mikey when he fucked up. Zach Nelson says, what up, my brother? So good to see you. It's good to see you too. Now that I know it's you, Zach. I appreciate it. Let's see. Is it me, or do you get the feeling if it's not Cody for Seth Rollins, it's going to be Shane McMahon? You're good, Zach. It's okay, buddy. Yeah, sorry. It's one of those where I keep forgetting to tell you guys when I start these shows, and it's in part of the Facebook group, that you have to click that link that's in the episode description to make your name appear. It's a pain in the ass. Facebook and StreamYard are allegedly working that out. You're right. But I don't know. So hopefully that works out. Anyway, I don't think it's going to be Shane McMahon. Lord knows I've been wrong before. But I don't see the need for it to be Shane McMahon. And what I mean by that is you don't want to just throw Seth Rollins a bone for the sake of being Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins deserves a mega match. He's been a hugely important part of the presentation, in my opinion anyway. Again, this is my show, my opinion. I think he's been a major part of the presentation the last little while, and I feel that that he should get that he should get that recognition. He should actually be allowed to have a major marquee match. And I think that while Shane is one of the favorites of this room and one of the favorites of this this network, I don't think Shane McMahon needs to be just inserted in here because, right? If they were going to build a program, cool, but we've got less than 3 weeks. It needed to be bigger if it was going to be Shane. And I only say that because Cody being a surprise is cool. Not a problem with that at all. Make us wait, make us drool, make us, sing the adrenaline song 500,000 times in our Facebook and social media posts before we actually, nut over him showing up, right? But if it's Shane McMahon, it's like, okay, whatever. So no, I don't think it'll be Shane to tell you what time it is by telling you how to build the watch. That's why I do on this show. Marshall says Vince wants to show respect to Scott Steiner, but Scott wants to throw it back in his face. You should just put Rick in and forget Scott Steiner altogether since Rick is less hateful. Exactly. Like I said, I'm never going to sing the praises of Scotty Steiner as far as on a personal level because I haven't met the guy. I don't know either way. But, everybody I've ever talked to that's worked with Scott professionally, especially during the time of his career where he would deserve a Hall of Fame induction, he was a shithead. Rick, again, both Steiners had a reputation for being a little heavy, a little stiff, if you will. But Rick was actually at NXT when his son became champion. He seems to be okay with being around. The fact that Scotty's still not there, I agree with Marshall. Just piss on it. Just let it be Rick by himself. Is Razor versus Brett from Rumble 93 a good recommendation for the best of Scott's matches? I'll be honest with you. That's one of the few shows I've not watched the whole way through. I've watched our Rumble, of course, because I'm Greg Cherry's friend, and that's what Greg Cherry's friends do. And I mean more than since I've actually watched it in 93 when it was on. But I've not seen the whole show. So I've actually not seen the Razor Brett match. So I don't have an answer for you there. Sorry. I probably will watch it now that it's one of those things where you feel like you should, right? Psycho says, I hope Big E can bounce back like Kurt Angle no matter how long it takes. Yeah, I did not have a chance to address E very much because it happened in the midst of a lot of shit going on this end of things. I am so happy that E is not worse off than he is. It was a horrible, horrible bump. Just a freak thing. Glad he's okay. Yeah, his neck's broken. Yeah, he's got the C1 where it may be worse than it is now down the line, like it was for Steve Austin. But he seems in really good spirits because that's the kind of person he is, from what I'm told. Again, I haven't met E yet, unfortunately. But from what I understand, he is remaining in positive spirits, and I guess you kind of have to when you get in a situation like that. It's like you can't leave yourself the option of sinking into the depths of darkness, because then you just stay there, right? So as far as the actual physical recovery, Big E's this big solid dude. So it's one of those where if anybody will bounce back from an injury, even of this nature, it would be Big E. So hopefully he will do that very, very soon. Resident Evil AMC says, hello, how are you? I am better than I was yesterday at this time, so I guess that's a good thing, right? James says, I was at Raw in Boston when Big E cashed in. Beyond grateful that you and your kids had that. Me and my kids had that moment and that memory. Best wishes to Ewan. Yeah, again, it's so good that they've brought the crowds back for stuff exactly like that. I mean, none of us will ever forget Dolph Ziggler cashing in after WrestleMania in 2013. That was the biggest Money in the Bank cash in right up until Rollins at WrestleMania. So cashing in front of a live crowd with a big TV moment, be it Raw, be it SmackDown, be it pay-per-view, is always the way to go. And the crowd being there just makes it that much a bigger impact on the presentation. So I'm glad you got to see it as well, James. I'm glad your kids got to see it. I am very much looking forward to taking Dylan to WrestleMania next year. It's going to be a wonderful experience. He's not been to a WrestleMania. He's been to pay-per-views, I think. Yeah, SummerSlams, but never to a WrestleMania. So it'll be wonderful. I, of course, am going to be my next live TV, unless some weird shit happens between now and then, of course, is going to be at the Fabulous Forum coming up in June. I am so stoked. I get to go home. I get to see the Forum. I get to see people like Frankie Kazarian and the Young Bucks and people I haven't seen in many, many years. And people I didn't see on the cruise. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, the crowd being there has been an immense difference in the presentation since they've come back. I'll get to the questions that are in the chat room now in just a moment. I actually going to run a brief little bumper here, about 30 seconds, I think it is, maybe even less, maybe even 20. Again, friend of mine just got married, and I definitely want to get it out there for her to have some money to pay for wedding and marriage stuff. So check out our friends at bakedbylex.com. We'll be right back. There you go. Again, bakedbylex.com. Again, Lex, thank you, and congratulations. The Santa cookies were wonderful last year. I can't wait to get more done this year. If the Santa thing takes off this year, we'll see how it goes. Psycho, the first WWF pay-per-view I saw on TV live was WrestleMania 7. Back in 1991. The main event was Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter for the WWF Championship after Slaughter had beaten the Warrior. Thanks to the Macho King, who took out the Warrior, which led to the Macho King vs. Ultimate Warrior career match, which, of course, Randy retired until the end of the year, and then Warrior got fired. So there you go. I didn't see the whole show, though, because during the championship match at the very end of the night, our pay-per-view feed at my aunt's house up in we're in Palmdale at the time. Yeah, Palmdale, California, cut. And I know it wasn't Time Warner because they didn't exist. I want to say it was like Cablevision or some stupid shit. I don't even remember what the name of it was back then. But we were on the phone with them up their ass the entire rest of the night. Didn't get to see the last part of the match. Had to find out actually on the NBC4 News from Fred Rogan, who's been around forever. Dude is still doing sports on Channel 4 out here. And he has a national show too, I believe. Fred Rogan was the one that told me that Hogan became champion for the third time that night. So there you go. The first one I saw the whole way through, God, I want to say it was a 92 Rumble, but I don't know if that's accurate. And again, my brain has been concussed like a muckerfuther for years. So, ironically enough, I do know for a fact I saw WrestleMania 10 the whole way through because I had a big watch party for that one. You know what? It may have been WrestleMania 9 or even 8 because 8, I was at a friend's house. That was during an earthquake. That was fun. And then WrestleMania 9, I was at another friend's house because that night I saw WrestleMania 9. First time I ever saw a Freddy Krueger movie. First time I ever saw a Chucky movie. We saw Freddy's Dead and Child's Play 3. So, yeah, just horrible, horrible movies. And a horrible WrestleMania. So, just a shit night when you look back, right? Can I see Rick Steiner being the manager of Braun Breaker for a time similar to Ric Flair and Charlotte? No, because they would have done it already. I think Rick being there in the crowd and WWE letting him go in the ring, acknowledge the son and everything, I think that was the extent of what they were going to let him do. And I don't think Rick's interested in coming back and being involved. You know, he's got his business. I think he's a realtor, if I remember right. Maybe a teacher, one or the other. Whatever he's doing, he's happy with what he's doing. So I don't see him wanting to come back. As far as I know, he doesn't want to come back full time and do that. So no, I don't. To answer your question, Marshall. Joe, I didn't do it at the start of the show. I did it yesterday. And I don't want to act too much like Kevin Owens. Like I get accused of that a lot. But hey, yo, there you go. Good to see you, Joe. Always good to see you, my friend. All right. Well, while we wait for questions to come in, I'm going to go ahead and start throwing up some promotional because that's what I'll do. Let's see. So that's not in here, of course, because that'd be too easy. But I will go ahead and plug that since that's in here and I know it's in here. We'll go ahead and do that. I need to tell everybody something right now. Let me apologize in advance for this show. Okay. It is a dreary, dreary show, at least my half. The 10 I chose, and I had been choosing 10 after all. I thought I had 10 and I'll mention I ended up just choosing 10, and you'll see why that was the case when we air this show on Thursday, Friday afternoon, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. Yeah, one of the scenes I chose, I didn't remember how horrible it was as far as the impact of the scene. So you'll know when we get there because you'll see the reactions after. But yeah, just fair warning. Don't watch that show if you're in the house around firearms or really, really lethal drugs, please. Don't do that, please. Please. Psycho says, do I have any memories of the infamous Northridge quake back in 1994? Since I've been here my whole life. I've never lived outside of California. We actually, where I'm at now, where the studio is not too far from my childhood home, where I spent the first 17 years of my life. It's literally like maybe a mile or mile and a half that way. Yeah. I remember it vividly. Woke up, the wee hours, of course. It was like 4 a.m. or some shit. By the grace of God, it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Dr. King Day, so there was no school. But we got woken up early anyway. Yeah, the house was rocking and rolling. It was crazy. I know my mom did not go to work that day. I know that her entire work life was forever altered by that, as far as when she worked in the San Fernando Valley, which her office at the time was on the property at the Van Nuys Airport, the airport out there in the valley, and Northridge is like right there. So it was the entire office was in shambles. Files were freaking thrown everywhere. It was ridiculous, just effing bananas. And the reason her entire work life got altered is because the interchange connecting our freeway to the Interstate 5, which she would take to get to another freeway to go to the office. The bridge literally collapsed. It completely just broke away. And I found out later, I actually found out reading recently, I read this on the anniversary of the earthquake, which was back in January. I read that they had, when the Somar quake in 71 happened, they had reinforced that bridge. Not good enough, apparently. And a off-duty police officer actually went over the lack of bridge and ended up passing away on his motorcycle. So that's now the Clarence Wayne Dean Memorial interchange. So while that was being rebuilt, my mom, who would go to work, regular, 9 to 5 type hours, she'd be there like I think at 8, she couldn't go that way anymore. But the home office where the company she worked for was based back east. So she would be at the office at 5 after the earthquake, because she would just take the surface streets. And I know the surface streets connect to the valley because that's how Sean Waltman drove me home from New Year's. We took the exact same roads. So that was many years later, though. But yeah, so I remember it very vividly. I remember it every January 17th and every Dr. King Day, because it's fresh in our minds. This is a multi-layered answer, but I'll go ahead and bring it up there. This is from Mob Chancho. Good Lord Almighty, I apologize. If I butchered that, I probably did. Do I like the concept of WrestleMania being 2 nights? Yes and no. Yes, because we don't have to sit there through a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever hours of a WrestleMania each year. The downside is double ticket prices, because you have to pay for each night, which I think is horseshit, for the record. I think that's awful. I really do. Chris, by the way, I see your comment. You also didn't do you didn't follow directions, but I'll get to your comment in just a second, Chris. My dad is pissed about WrestleMania being 2 nights, because it's very likely it's going to be my 40th birthday present from the family, is the tickets to everything they're doing, which, 2 nights of Mania, Raw, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, all that shit. So it's going to be a pricey weekend, no doubt about it. And I know I came off as a mooch again, because that's what I'm called on social media by a lot of you wonderful people. But it's my 40th birthday. I should be lavished with gifts upon me, right? Damn it. Anyway, so yes and no. Marshall says, what's the closest I've ever been to moving out of the state of California, if ever, and where would we have moved if we ever did move out of California? I appreciate it. I don't mind a hypothetical in this case. You hypothetical fan spooky, not a fan of this one I like. So thank you, Marshall. Never actually been close officially. We've talked about it. My mom has family out of state. My dad's family originated in Ohio, as many of the Stat Boys sports bar fans know. If we ever did move, it would probably be closer to my mom's family, up in Oregon, just because that's where family is. That's really the only family we have out of state that we would, we still are, like, we talk to every day type family, right? So I would say Oregon. I do have friends back in Pennsylvania, as you guys know, and I have talked with Greg and Jen about that, moving out that way. The main hurdle, I guess, for myself moving is Dylan, and the fact that he is here, and the fact that his education is here, and the fact that his mother is still here and in his life. And as long as she is in California and involved in his life, I can't go anywhere. And that's not a shit on her. That's just can't do it. Don't want to do it. Yeah. If it was anywhere, it'd be Oregon for now. Seattle was an option also because they have a hockey team, which is cool. So maybe. So Chris, let me get your name right, Chris. Chris Salima. I apologize. Chris says the one takeaway I have from Scott's death is meet your heroes now before it's late. Agreed, absolutely. And I was very, very fortunate to meet Scott. So I'm glad to do that. Mohammed says, happy Tuesday evening, Jeff. I hope you are doing well. And same with everyone in the chat. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Joey says, so far, the first night's looking better than the second night of WrestleMania. Yeah, I think so. Loaded with title matches. So why not? I agree so far. Mike says, am I going to the AEW shows in California this summer? I got tickets for LA and Ontario. Yes, I'm going to the show in LA at the Great Western. God, I am so conditioned, even after 30 years. Isn't that the worst? I am going to the show at the Fabulous Forum. There you see the graphic. I doctored accordingly. I will be at the Forum on June 1st, and I am just unbelievably, by God, stoked. It's so funny. I did this whole Road to SoFi project with the idea that I was not going to be back in Inglewood, back at the Forum, back on the Forum property area until WrestleMania next year. And now I get to go home early, and I'm very happy about that. The other question from Little Soldier was, when are we doing WrestleMania predictions on the Jeff Meacham Network? I know Aaron put it up on social media. I think Aaron and the No DQ team are doing predictions, and Aaron, if somebody on the No DQ team can throw me a friggin' bone here and let me know for sure. No DQs will be on the weekend before WrestleMania, so that's the 20. Jesus, my brain is not happening. 31, 20, the 25th and the 26th, and then they're doing NXT predictions that Tuesday, the 28th. And as far as our side, the Jeff Meacham Network side of things, we will be doing predictions for Ring of Honor and for, why are we not hiding that comment? The shit. There we go. Jeez. Damn thing. We'll be doing Ring of Honor NXT predictions on Tuesday, the 29th at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and then WrestleMania predictions 2 nights later at 6 o'clock Eastern. 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific on Thursday, March 31st, because we're doing both nights on the same prediction show, because it's easier on me and my team. Son, how you doing? Hey, Son's here. I love when Son shows up on my shows. I appreciate it. Which women's world title match do you think will end up being the best of the two at WrestleMania 38? Becky versus Bianca or Charlotte versus Ronda? That's a great question, Son. Right now, my gut answer was to say Charlotte Ronda. And I usually go with my gut because it is sizable. So I only say Charlotte Ronda because I think Becky and Bianca have kind of worked themselves up just a little bit too much into a situation where they have to do extraordinary, or they'll feel like they fell short, where Charlotte and Ronda are not doing a hell of a whole lot except beating the shit out of each other and everybody else in their path. And I honestly, of course, I want to see Ronda versus Becky. That's the match I've been wanting to see. But I'm curious how the crowd's going to be for Charlotte Ronda this time, because as we've talked about, Aaron and I and a lot of the No DQ folks and a lot of my folks were at Survivor Series back in 2018 when, or 2018, when Ronda faced Charlotte last time after Nia Jax took Becky out of the match, and the hometown crowd turning on Ronda is what drove her out of the company. I will die on that hill. That's why I feel. But now it's neutral because they're in Texas, so it'll be fun to see how that all lays out. Let's see. Psycho says, when Miro comes back, who would you like to see him feud with? I'd like to see Wardlow, Keith Lee, CM Punk, and Jon Moxley. I love all of those. I would be curious if Miro teamed up with somebody to face William Regal's new villainous team of Moxley and Danielson. I'd be here for that. Absolutely. Do I think Seth will win the match, will run with the no match story up until WrestleMania? and Cody shows up. Um, this is not my official prediction, by the way, for WrestleMania, because I don't really, like I said, we're doing that in a couple weeks. Again, the gut reaction says yes, just to make us all salivate and wait. Are we going to get Cody? Are we going to get Cody? Are we going to get Cody? What I honestly, and then this is kind of going off into the weeds here a little bit, but I honestly think what they'll probably do is just have Rollins get involved in the KO show and have both him and Rollins and Owens take the stunner, just so it's a longer segment. That's what I honestly truly think they will do. They won't give us Cody Mania. They'll make us wait till the night after Mania, because they're making a big deal of the night after Mania again, because the crowd's back and it's going to be a thing. So I think they're going to make us wait until Raw after Mania to get Cody. And and I think that we're going to just have an extended KO show with Rollins getting involved there as well. So that's what I think is going to happen there. All right. I'm going to give myself a little break here. I'm going to throw to another. We'll do this one now. Got friends here in the city that do great print work. He actually did this in blue for me. By the way, it looks like this because of the green screen. It actually looks, the color actually looks very nice when it's not green screened out. But he did the original one for me so I could wear it to where did I wear it to? Some sort of convention where I had a Back to the Future need. Oh, I wore it out to Adams to see the DeLorean. They do a great job out here at Undisputed. Anyway, Undecided. I need to take a break. Clearly, let's do that. There you go. Undecidedprinting at gmail.com. The telephone number's on the screen there. So check them out. Please. Let's see. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and do another plug. We'll wait for more questions to come in here. We're getting towards the bottom of the hour, or the second half of the hour here. So coming up, again, we're doing Dad's Friday Thursday. I don't, the no DQ audience, I don't think I've been able to tell this yet. So here, let me go ahead and plug this out there now. When I was up in Vegas a couple weekends ago for my birthday celebrations, we ran into this lady at the Toy Con, Jenny Santana. She is the daughter of Tito Santana, WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana. And she is actually the general manager for a new promotion that's launching out in Vegas called Ultimate Women of Wrestling. And you guys know how I feel about women's wrestling and how I've been such an advocate for many years. So looking forward to having Jenny on the show. That'll be Thursday night, St. Patrick's Day, at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I know it goes against the no DQ review, and I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry to me immediately, because I know I'm going to get spanked in the competition there. But I had to go with her schedule, was basically what it was, because I wanted to make sure we got her on as quickly as possible to start the promotion for their event, which is actually going to be the weekend before Double or Nothing. So I wanted to make sure I got the promotions ball rolling. So that's coming up on Thursday night, this Thursday, St. Patrick's Day night, March 17th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So, and again, if you're watching No DQ, that won't be on this channel, just so you know. That'll be on Jeff Meacham Network, the Greg Cherry brand, and no, not Greg Cherry brand either, because we're doing Jack of All Trades. No, what are we doing Thursday? Definitely on my channel, definitely on JJ's channel. How about that? I don't know about Greg's. I'm a little flummox there. Chris says, what do I think WrestleMania is? What do I think of WrestleMania being the same day as March Madness? I do not follow college basketball at all. I never have. So just, yeah. I really don't have an opinion of it. It's like, it's interesting, I guess, if you're a sports fan and you're also a WWE fan, because it's definitely a choice. But yeah. Psycho says, what are my thoughts on Hook? Do I think he has potential, or is he just a meme? He has potential. And again, I'm not, Lord knows I'll never sing Taz's praises on my shows, but I like what I see in Hook, and I definitely think the guy has potential. So yes. Not sure what Joey obviously sent his question early, so we'll go ahead and let that be. So that's Thursday. I did Friday. Tomorrow. So tomorrow on the Quizlemania side of things, let me go ahead and get that picture up. Where is it? There it is. If you're a follower of Quizlemania, and I highly recommend you be a follower of Quizlemania because it's an awesome, fun show to watch. But our buddy Greg Cherry is finally going to compete on Quizlemania, and that's tomorrow at, I believe it's at 1 o'clock Eastern, maybe Pacific. I'll have to look. But anyway, it's tomorrow, and they're operating on British prime time, so it'll be later in the day for us crazy kids here in the United States. But definitely check out Greg, and then he'll be on his channel as well as mine and JJ's, I think. I'm not sure, on the Greg Cherry Show. And we'll talk all about Quizlemania because it'll be live. Both shows are live. Quizlemania is live, and the Greg Cherry Show is live tomorrow. So be looking out for both of those tomorrow. Why can't WrestleMania stay in March? I don't know. Good question. I wish WrestleMania would be in March. That'd be tremendous. Chris, did I read your comments because the video froze up? Am I frozen right now? That's not good. Chris, I never got your comments if you sent them in. If I missed them. I don't see any comments from you, Chris. So if you sent them in, please resend them because I don't see them on my lineup here on the chat. I don't see them unless they're on Twitter, which I haven't checked yet. Probably should check that. Nope, I don't see anything, Chris. So let me know. I once told the story where my dad met CM Punk and he recognized your name. Do you think he'll recognize you if he still sees you in the audience? No. I don't know if Punk actually knows me as far as knows me by face. I think he just knows me by name, and that's just because of all the shenanigans I've pulled over the years. So, but it'd be cool if he did. I'll give him a fist bump. We'll do the whole thing. I'm just going to go as a fan and enjoy myself. I'll be doing, the live tweet along thing there in the audience because I'll have decent seats. So it'll be good. But I don't think he'll recognize me if he does see. I'm going to be there early that day for the record. I'm going to go see, my friends that work there, Frankie, and, I haven't seen the Bucks in a very long time. So it'll be cool to see them. But if Punk recognizes me, cool. Johnny says, what match are you looking forward to the most at Mania? Again, we'll talk all about WrestleMania coming up in 2 weeks, but AJ and Edge is a good choice. Chris said, there you go. Hey, Jeff, I hope you're doing great. I'm sorry I've been in the chat room lately. I haven't been on lately, so you're good, Chris. Busy with work. My question is, how many more matches are going to be announced for Mania? Night 2 seems kind of light, so probably maybe 2 or 3 more would be my guess. Just like so kind of pad the shows a little bit more. That's my guess. All right, we're going to do one more break. It's a little bit of a longer one because I need to go pee. I'm just being straight here. So coming up WrestleMania weekend, April 1st, in addition to the Ring of Honor watch-along that we do Friday night the 1st, in addition to WrestleMania watch-alongs, no, we're not doing NXT. I don't want to watch along at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd be damn tired. It is the return of our friends here on the Renegade Reviews channel, the Cassidy Studios, excuse me. That'll be the return of Renegades Reviews. And the first 3 nights, which, by the way, WrestleMania April is movies featuring, or more accurately, starring wrestlers. So this is what's coming up in April for our friends at the Cassidy Studios. We'll be right back. And again, that kicks off April 1st at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific with Renegades reviews of The Wrong Side of Town, starring Rob Van Dam and Batista. And then they're out of order again. Sorry, sorry about that, JJ. April 2nd will be Texas's own Stone Cold Steve Austin in The Condemned. And April 3rd, WrestleMania Sunday, will be Avengers of Justice Farce Wars featuring the Heartbreak Kid, WWE Hall of Famer himself, Shawn Michaels. So that's coming up in the month of April. My camera's off because I fucked up. There we go. Hi. All right. So we had a couple questions come in, and we'll go ahead and do all of that. Jeff, I got the VIP for AW. Did you? I did not get VIP. I don't have that kind of money, to be honest with you. I don't know what VIPs get. That would be a question for the actual VIPs because I am not one of them. Psycho says, do I think Veer will end up like Brodus Clay, where he comes in as one big joke to amuse the old man backstage? Isn't that what he is now? This whole meme thing is just one big giant joke, right? And after what happened Monday or last week with the rather orgasmic looking screen capture, yikes, no bueno. Brett Cookstead asked me if I've ever seen Hunt to Kill with Steve Austin. I have not seen that one. I didn't see the lineup there either, so I'll have to check it out independently. Son says, if Queen Charmel and Vicky Guerrero had an in-ring promo battle of All Hail King Booker versus Excuse Me, who would generate the most heat from the audience? That's a good question. Probably Vic. Oh, you know what? Everybody, see, the thing is, everybody loves to hate Vicky. And again, I'm not knocking Charmel at all. I just think that Charmel's going to get a lot of heat only because people think she doesn't deserve it. Because of she didn't really contribute, for my fandom opinion, whatever you want to call it. I don't see where she should be a WWE Hall of Fame inductee. I mean, she was a Nitro girl. Cool. She was Alan Funk's valet when he was Kwee. Cool. She's married to Booker and was Queen Charmel when he was King Booker. Okay. Cool. So I think if that was the case nowadays, son, it would definitely be Charmel. And normal day, probably Vicky, because she just screeches it and it's obnoxious. And I love Vic, and it's just bad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the show there, but let me go ahead and make sure I didn't miss anything. Of course, if you're watching No DQ, we appreciate that here at NoDQ.com. Check us out each and every day of the week. There's something going on, be it to the TV reviews, be it the No DQ review. We've got the Hall of Fame each year, the awards, year-end awards each year. There's always breaking news. You can go to NoDQ.com and our social media outlets for everything and anything in the world of professional wrestling / sports entertainment, of course. So Psycho, if the Steiners do get inducted as the Steiners, I think Braun Breaker should do it because he's already with the company. If Sid is inducted like they're talking about, it should be Harvey Whippleman. Bruno, without question. Without question, it should be Harvey. Let's see. What else? Again, Renegades Reviews is coming up on April 1st. You can go to subscribe at youtube.com/Costume Studios if you're not watching on the Costa channel, which you aren't. Okay. So please check that out. But that'll be coming up in April. And again, the first 3 shows back: Wrong Side of Town, Condemned, and Avengers of Justice Farce Wars, which is it's so funny, but it's stupid. Again, tomorrow, Greg Cherry show immediately after Quizzlemania 46, featuring our own Greg Cherry. We're happy for Greg. Thursday night, Jenny Santana is on one-on-one with Jeff Meacham as we talk about Ultimate Women Wrestling and so much more with the WWE Hall of Famer's daughter, Jenny Santana. And then Friday is Dad's, and I'm sorry again for the death scene. It's bring tissues, do not bring firearms, do not have alcohol, hard alcohol with you. You'll regret it, I promise you. It's just be careful out there, kids. This is NoDQ.com. This is the Greg Cherry brand. This is the Costume Studios. And of course, it's Jeff Meacham Network. And I am Jeff Meacham. And this has been Talk Wrestling. Have a wonderful night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.